Hurricane Irma, a little more tree limb action and stuff like that. I feel bad for that tree over there. This really is a unique opportunity. There aren't too many people, I don't think, who are going to have this kind of back porch action. Come out on my back porch and not even be in the wind. Cool. I pray for the people of Cuba and the island that this went over. It's time for a revolution, folks. This storm was a mechanism of childish, flailing, temper tantrum little boy wrath from ungrateful chimpanzees who make it their effort to subordinate us, the people, to them on our money, if that makes any sense. And so instead of continuing to pay these parasites anything for this terrorism, we need to start taking into consideration what the hell we're doing. Because I watched the storm make a 45-degree turn, and that is not natural for a storm of that size to make a 45-degree turn. So, you know, I wasn't born yesterday, and neither were a lot of us. Oh, and you get a glimpse of the neighbor's gang stalking flag. My real first name is Danielle. You can see how that would be a gang stalking flag. Oh, I just like, you know, the letter D. I just like pretty flags, and it just happens to be facing just you, so that nobody from the street or anyone else would be able to see it. Pretty sad, especially in Paradise. I mean, the gang stalkers down here are really mind-blowing. You know, it's like you don't realize what it's like to live in the cold-ass ghetto. You should enjoy life. Instead, oh my God, keep them safe. Keep them safe. Keep them safe, God. Oh, he's a little mossy. Oh, no, I feel so bad for him. I don't even want to take a picture. But here he is. Oh, he's trying to figure out a way to get in. I don't know. What to tell you, Mott? There are pretty much no holes where you're looking. Well, maybe God will keep him safe anyway. But yeah, so we're not. None of us were born yesterday, and this is absolutely a storm that was created to be as large as it could in the Atlantic when it was crossing from Africa, and when it became as large as it could become, they steered it, and it's so obvious that they steered it that I'm actually glad that I'm down here going through this, because it reminds me of something else. It reminds me of, not that this is Katrina level waters, we haven't gotten the storm surge yet, I believe, and we shall see what that will bring. But this reminds me of the setup that Katrina was. Because to look at the path of this gigantic hurricane and tell me that it was making a 45-degree angle because that's the way that hurricanes just do, doesn't cut it for me. I don't believe everything that I'm told, so nope. That's not some kind of load of crap I'm going to believe. But what I will believe is that it's time for revolution. It's been time for decades for revolution. And if we don't stand up now, it is now at the point where we're going to pay for that. We're going to pay for not standing up now. Because they're in ferocity mode. And the reason why I don't want to get into details is because they realize that it's game over. It has a lot to do with John McCain's eye as a symbol. And then I'll leave it at that. And his ship. And I pray for the lost souls on the ship, but truly that was all that they really ever had. That's all that any of us really ever have. Everything that you see around you in this realm, in this lowly realm, is an illusion, folks. It's all illusory. It's all atoms, it's all electrons, it's all crap. Your soul. You have your soul, and that is it. Trust me. I know what I'm talking about. And so, oh, there's that moth. And so, keep that in mind. We have nothing to fear. They have everything to fear. And that's the point of this storm, was to send a message. Of course, it was a crappy message, because now the message that God's going to send is going to be just not even to scale with this. And that was the whole point of John McCain's eye wound appearing when it did. Exactly when my eye wound was healed correctly. When I did my own self-surgery. You know, it is time, folks, for revolution. When I did my own self-surgery, because I was a target of the United States government for being a woman who lives alone my whole life. I've been a target. For being the target of the United States government, I could not get my eye worked on. And when I got my eye worked on by a guy who I talked into it, I basically had to strong-arm the guy by never ever shutting up and not leaving his office. So the guy did my surgery after years and years of just walking around like a you know, with a disfigured face. It was very traumatic. And so after years, I got some guy to work on me, and then 6 months later, my surgery was maimed by the spy assassin. And so that would be in 2014. Now, I did my own surgery this time because there were no surgeons willing to work on me. And so, because they're terrified. They're terrified of women who live alone and, you know, people who know the truth. And the only reason that would be valid is if they really, really messed up. If they're a super ungrateful chimps who took our money and beat us up with it. And that's exactly the truth, and you can watch it right now happening before your eyes. Now, so I did my own surgery, and when I did my own surgery to fix my own face so that I could see, so that my forehead was not a wall of knots and pain, so that I could see, because my ocular sockets were unevenly weight displaced, if you will. There was more weight on the left ocular socket because of the disfigurement over my eye, so I could not see. Everything was blurred. But, you know, the two eyes were not matching up. One of them was being squished down by this weight. And so I fixed it myself. And God was with me, too. Because it went like lightning, and it couldn't have gone smoother. Immediately thereafter, John McCain, the warhawk, the American nobody. There's a wound in the same exact place. Shortly thereafter, John McCain, the warhawk, the American symbol of American nothing. If you want to degrade yourself like that and call John McCain an American, his ship goes down, and I pray for the 10 souls that went down with it. I do. Believe me, I pray for all your souls, even the messed up little bojangled traitors that we have to deal with now. I pray for your souls too. But that ship going down and the eye wound, rest assured, those were symbols from God, and those symbols from God were a warning. And that warning, because I've had visions from the future, that warning will not be heeded, and they will be destroyed. So if you need any encouragement, take it from that. Now, on to what's important. We need to stand up. It is time for revolution. We're not going to continue to get beat around by these traitors. And I mean ever again. It is time to stand up. Our Constitution has made room for us to defend ourselves. And we should honor that Constitution by doing so. God bless.